And we're back with our political correspondent, Ed O'Keefe, who is out in snowy Iowa, Des Moines to be exact. Ed, what are you seeing on the ground?
Well, Margaret, this is essentially the last Sunday that candidates have to campaign because with the Super Bowl next weekend, they concede it'll be hard to reach voters. All of them here in the state today holding dozens of events, and some of them quite desperate to do so. As Amy Klobuchar told the crowd last night, she turns into a pumpkin on Monday when she has to go back to Washington and focus once again on the impeachment trial. Perhaps the big headline overnight is actually a headline, and that is in the Des Moines Register, an endorsement for Elizabeth Warren from the state's largest newspaper. She's thrilled by that. Other candidates have received endorsements as well, but this one probably has the most effect across the state. But she slipped into fourth place, as our Battleground Tracker shows and other surveys as well, to the benefit of Mayor Pete Buttigieg, who remains a very big factor here and knows that he must perform well if he has any hope of continuing on. We talked to him about what he's trying to do to stand out in the field.
Well, here's what I'd say. If you're focused on winning, remember this. Every time my party's won in the last 50 years, it's been with a nominee who was new to national politics, had not run for president before, did not have an office in Washington, or at least hadn't had one for very long, and was opening the door to a new generation of leadership. That's how we win.
There was a scuffle in recent days, so to speak, between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders.
I know she said that nobody likes me, right? I mean, this is not the kind of rhetoric that we need right now when we are trying to bring the Democratic Party together to defeat the most dangerous president in American history.
Is Hillary Clinton still relevant to the conversation and to the Democratic Party?
Well, of course, I respect what any leader in our party has to say. I'll also say the less 2020 resembles 2016, the better. We are at a moment when we have got to recognize what we share as a party, the shared values that motivate us. And that's what my campaign is about. I'm speaking to fellow Democrats and to independents. I'm speaking to progressives, moderates, and some folks who might have leaned right in the past but are sick with what's happening right now. They're what I call the future former Republicans, and they are welcome to be part of this coalition.
And they wouldn't find favor with someone like Bernie Sanders then, most likely.
What I'm saying is you don't have to give up on our progressive values or water them down one bit. To have a message that is inclusive and drawing as many people as possible in. We got to not just beat Donald Trump, we got to beat him big so that Trumpism goes into the history books too.
Ed, Mayor Pete has argued that his military service helps qualify him to be commander-in-chief. Veterans groups in this country are calling on President Trump to apologize about remarks he made about traumatic brain injury. How did Mayor Pete frame the issue?
Well, this is certainly an advantage for him to talk about his military service, and the usually unflappable Buttigieg was notably torqued about this issue. It's personal for him, and he spoke about it at great length.
Traumatic brain injury is life-threatening, not just at the time, but for the rest of your life. It can completely debilitate somebody who has served this country. And for the president to belittle that kind of sacrifice, for the president who avoided serving because he said bone spurs made it impossible for him to be able to do his part, to turn around and demean the experience of soldiers in harm's way who were injured, who were very concretely and literally injured by an Iranian missile attack, is one more example of why Donald Trump has no business anywhere near the Situation Room.
This is one of the few issues that really seems to torque you.
Yeah.
You're somebody who's been pretty level-headed, but this one clearly gets to you.
What makes my blood boil? The President of the United States showing this level of disrespect to everybody from, remember, these injured service members that he's talking about. He's their commander-in-chief right now. Their lives depend on his wisdom and judgment right now, and he can't even show a basic level of concern.
Strong words. Ed O'Keefe, thank you for bringing us that.